Morning guys, so welcome back to NZ Hombre Kustoms. My name's Glenn, if you didn't know. So we'll start trying to put this tail up together. So yesterday, in the last video, I made this piece which is to help hold the number plate light lens in, because it's everything on this thing is all old and the lenses aren't very good, and that one's cracked by me. Unfortunately, I dropped it, slipped out in the hand and cracked in half. I did try to glue it together with some epoxy. It's kind of still holding, but it's not very well. Worst comes to worst, I'll remake that lens out of some plaster or something like that. There's no writing on it, so it doesn't really matter. I could soon get a piece of polycarbonate plastic or something. I've actually probably got a piece I could cut off and polish it up. I've got a water use body filler, which is plastic, well, perspex, which I'm just not sure where it's, well, I put it because I was going to clean it up the other day. I moved it. It's reasonably big. I could cut a section off that and shape a piece of perspex if I needed to, and polish it all up and whatever. You know, wet sand it up with 3000 and then buff it out and clean it all up if I had to, and I can trim a bit of shape into it. Worst comes to worst, if it doesn't hold together very well. But so I made this here to help retain it so it doesn't rattle around in there. It slips in here, and then with the other screws that hold everything all in, this would sit down on top of the glass and just hold it. So it actually fits that way. But so yeah, we might assemble this and put it on the car and see how we get it going there. I've got to get a couple of bulbs, I think. I've got one here. But we really need to get a couple of bulbs from somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. Actually, Dad would probably just have a couple in his shed just to throw in there. I'm just not sure what wattage they are. I'd have to have a decent look. They're 6 volt, but just what wattage I'm not really sure. Tail lights and brake lights and stuff like that, I'm not familiar with that area quite so much in 6 volt. So I need to put this together, put a couple of bulbs in it. I don't think, yeah, maybe. That's that on the bottom one's stop. The other one's just tail light, isn't it? Yeah, not sure. I could possibly put one of these in there just to play with it. And at least then I can put this through, because I do have a wiring harness for this and I can put it on. I want to get some nicer little nuts. Might get some acorn nuts to put on this, and then we'll dab a bit of Loctite on them when we do them up. Because I've also got to get some 1/4 inch ones for the window frames that I made. Finished making them yesterday and painted, so I've just painted them. They are canvas sides if you haven't come across my earlier videos. So yeah, put that together. Alright, let's put this light together, hopefully. Having problems with just not pushing that contact in enough, but I actually had to rebuild this side of it. It broke off So this is like spring steel, well that's not really spring steel, if you know what I mean. It's just what I can find and hopefully it works. You just fucking forget shit. I'll come back to you when I've got it done. So I finally got the reflector back on there. I had to find a couple of screws that I could. This was originally sort of, it wasn't riveted on, but it was kind of riveted on, if you know what I mean. Through these little tags in the back here. So I just found a couple of screws that will screw under there. They're a bit long, but you can't see them. They do the trick. So yeah, got them on there. So we'll carry on putting this thing together again. See if we can get it together. Test, make sure it's lit lights and they work properly. Positive earth. See it in there? Right. There you can. In theory, one. Right. Okay, what the other? Right. On in. Right, so I fucking power again. I've been freaking screwing around with the grid here. Unfortunately, because I don't own the land, or you know what I mean, like I just don't hear about it. There's a bit of pain. It's not too much of a panic, like I'm not really flying through, you know, but got this light completely together, muck around with it a bit, obviously, to get things sorted. I've had to use these other screws that I found the other day, because the original ones are too short, and I just don't know whether it's because, for what reason, I don't know, weird. Anyway, so the lights work, obviously individually, tail light and brake light. There is a bit of little light through here. I can't get this in any better position, so I think, again, I'm probably going to have to get a bit of plastic or perspex, red perspex, make a tail light, or see if I can find an old tail light out of something and cut a piece out of it and put it in there. And I may put a plastic lens in here too, but in the meantime, it's kind of working. So that's cool. So we might just pop that on the car in the meantime, and I can always change the lens out. I may guess. Poke the wiring down through, whatever. Yeah, and then I'm just not really sure what I'm going to do. Yeah, I don't know. A bit of a pain in the ass having no power. Yeah, trying to work out what I'm going to do. But a little scratch on here, I've got to touch up too. It's no major. Just a little bit of brush. Scratch it with frickin' screwdriver, trying to put the original screws back in there. But I want to put something on. I feel like I'm fucking doing something. I feel like I'm getting somewhere. That's what I'm fucking achieved anyway. Right, sweet. We'll change these nuts out at some point to put a nice little chrome one on there or something. Don't really know. But at least it's on there now. Lift those little nuts up a little bit, and yeah, I'll think about what I was going to do next. Right, oh, one tail light on. This is a cheese, feel like a cheese somewhere. So yeah, doesn't look too bad. Bring it down a little bit. So yeah, one more piece of the puzzle, I guess. Like everything else, it needs a bit of a clean up and a shine, but when you give everything a final wash and a bit of wax, I might even run the buff over some of this stuff, whatever, gently. I want to get some little foam ball buffer sort of type things. So I can do around some of these spots and little cones. And we'll give it all really good clean down. Give it a wax and whatever. Make the corners a bit easier. But yeah, that's done. At some point we'll have to work out where the wiring goes. But yeah, all good. Done. You know, yeah. Right, I'll spot you later. We'll work out what I'm going to do next, I guess. Hopefully get some power back shortly. Right, morning everybody. So, got power back this morning. I'm not sure if it came back on yesterday or not, because went home. I was going to come back a wee bit later on after I had lunch and whatever, but Mrs. got me dragged around doing all sorts of things, so didn't really get back here, and then had to take the young fella to first thing, just some sports thing he was doing that he's going to do for a few weeks with the school. So he ended up doing that slightly later in the afternoon. So yeah, didn't really get back here. But I think what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to start going around and double checking some of the stuff I've done. Like I know I've got to put grease nipples or grease zerts and a lot of suspension, check split pins, bits and pieces like that, because some of that stuff I haven't done. I know I need to get a few split pins, some bigger stuff. So I think that's what I'm just going to go through and just check all that sort of stuff, see what I need and all that sort of stuff, because I'm almost out of things to do. So give these a quick clean up and polish. I possibly could have done some of this yesterday, but it's a bit awkward in the hair. No, yeah, you can't use it. Well, can't charge your battery. Can't use the buffer. And I can't use the pillar drill. Just stuff like that, you know. The lighting's not terribly good in here. When the lights are off, it's a bit overcast. You can see, but you know, you can't see nice and sharp. So these here go in here. Maybe they sit underneath those, do they? Pretty well now that those pieces on there. Interesting. I'll show you that. I haven't actually had these on there since I think I've had those bits on. Yeah, so if this is here, it may slip underneath it. Oh, it might do. Yeah, it's a bit tight, you know what I mean? You could always take this off and just shave a little bit off the bottom of it, actually. See if this one fit the other side. And then I'm going to make it one to the back. It's sort of same both, you know what I mean? I think the easiest way actually is to just trim a little of this off, just modify it, just so it fits nicer. So I'm going to end up forcing it underneath. I think. Yeah. A little bit of muck around with this stuff. We can hub around with this for a couple of days. Some of the other bits and pieces. I think that enough that piece. And on the back of the floor. This piece is still the original piece. I'll also make a new one. But I don't know if that piece will go underneath more pieces. Go underneath is long enough. I've made these pieces, but I don't put them on. Stuff like that. A little bit of muck around to do with that. I started this stuff ages ago. Obviously, even was sort of up. Well, it's like 3/4 of the way finished on the sort of school on. We'll do this stuff, muck around with this. I think the trick is probably just trim it off. Trim it off so it's round here. And I can polish these up. I don't think it'll take much to polish up. We'll have a look. If you can see it. I think we'll just trim the corner. We'll just take a little bit out of here. We'll leave it a little bit, just to tuck around the corner in here. So I can't get it underneath. Just with the way it's set up. The main reason I did that cord is because the cord here for the pillar drill is on that cable. I got sick of chopping it from one thing to the other. So like sometimes you'd be drilling some holes and little bits and pieces, like when I was making those brass pieces, and then you'd have to come over and swap the cord around. It was a bit of a pain in the ass. So yeah, I knew those couple of cables here, so I had a good look at it, and it was like, oh yeah, sweet. I just wired into the old plug and just screwed it into the, probably should have backing on it, but that's something we can do better later on, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'll just go up to that. There's a plug, like there's a normal wall plug up there in the roof, which all the roller doors hook into, but there's a second plug up there, so I'll just plug it into that. It'll work fine, it's no worse than the normal extension cord. Right, let's see if this all cleans up. See what we can do with it. I'm not sure what we're going to be able to do with it, make it see if we can get that pretty, but I better clean it up a little bit. Let's go have a look. Right, I will try that again. Sitting there talking to myself. Funny. Right, sorry. I just changed a bit of this paper. I'm just saying it was crap, but it's all I got. It's sticking back from the blocks. Just thinking that might be a good way to clean this up. Just want to be careful because it does have a logo on here. I don't want to try and make that disappear if I can. I just want to get it to clean up so at least it'll polish up and half look nice. I know it's going to go off at some point, but I'm just going to file these edges up just to try and smooth them off, if you know what I mean. Somehow. to give it a bit of a buff up here if we can. Probably really need some aluminium polish, but I'm just trying to do what I can do. You know what I mean? More to try and get some of that ingrained, that is like deep marks and stuff, just to try and make it look better. So I'm never going to get all those marks out. I'm going to do, I might as well, you know, start with fresh piece, you know. It seems to be a shame to throw away like the original bit, if you know what I mean. Like it's rough, but it's still in reasonable shape, both of them are. Not all wafted away and whatever, you know. It's just the same, it's so rough. Could remake it. I might go use the piece in the back door, the length of it, and just see whether I can make the back ones. So that's about that long. So we'll it past the end of the measurement. A little piece. Just tape So skinny strip off to start off. Put a little piece there. But I need to get one piece done on. Strip off that for the back of the other bit that I haven't remade. Got that thing's not 4 foot. Okay. Back here a minute. Right, so I had to shorten that piece down because that guillotine is only about 3 foot or thereabouts. That must be a wee bit over. That must be 3 foot exactly. Because 900 I think is it slightly shorter than 3 foot? I think. Yeah, it will be. So yeah, that must be like, it's like 930 to 40 mils long. And the piece of trim I need for the back of that little fork section to put another new piece on is slightly under 900. So I trimmed a little bit off the end of it, of that sheet. And it actually happens to be perfect for perfect for a piece that I need to make for at least one side. I might get both, I don't know. For the back door. So I'm just thinking, because this has got like a little double lip in it, and it's not terribly wide. I just think maybe if I mimic, I don't know if I can mimic this or not, but I might be able to. I'm just not sure in the folder. That being a lighter gauge, I might be able to. We'll see. Now we can only try, you know. So near to the bend is 32 mils. Righty, so to try and get this sort of profile, obviously in the this, so I did a rough bend, got roughly where I need it to be, to start it anyway. So I've got these two pieces of plate with this, whatever this donut piece of steel is. So I'm going to tack these to this, probably in a few spots, just so hopefully it doesn't break off. I've got a piece of that same bar as this, which I'm going to tack into this piece of exhaust tubing, just so it doesn't twist or bend or whatever. Or I'll just to try and give it a little bit more control. And then we'll push this down into that gap with that on it and the press. Pretty simple. Hopefully it works. It should do. And at least then we can form this kind of shape. It's about that sort of thickness. It's not quite, but if it's a tiny little bit fatter, it's not the end of the world. It should be reasonably snug. You know, if it's not 100% dead perfect, it's, you know, what do you do? Like I could probably get some thinner gauge and put in there, but then you risk that probably bending and buckling. Probably 2 mil panel steel would be probably perfect, but I don't have anything that thick. And then you've got the, you know, on a piece this, you know, it probably could deform, whereas that 3 mil will probably, because this is aluminium, it's probably, this is probably going to flex before that will. Probably that might do, but worst comes to worst, if it does flex a little bit, well, you know, I'll just move the, jig it along a little bit and we'll just push it in another spot and make it look a little bit better. So I'll move the welder down here. Use my small vise because it was easy to put clamps on. We've got a originally. Let's see if we can straighten the rest of that out again. Try anyway. Not perfect. I think by the time it's screwed down and whatever, I'm going to play with a little bit from here. Now, where do we want to go next? Bit there. Sorry. Right. Not far away. Can't look at the front and back at the same time. I want to look a little edge like that on it, don't I? Almost the same thing again, kind of. Sometimes it's the weight of the blade coming down. You have to do what you want. I was just trying to square that edge up a little bit, you know what I mean? This one here is actually going to get cut off. Actually, can we cut that off with a guillotine maybe? So, where I cut it. Sweet. I can just hammer that back now. One made. Have a look. It's amazing what you make, you know, just a little bit of time thinking. You know, if you got access to even like a wee 5-ton press, it'd still do this sort of stuff, you know, or even a hammer, as you're seeing. Got a little bit of trimming to do and whatever, but yeah, that's really spot on me, really. Nice. Nice. Yeah. I don't know if it's worth rounding these edges or not, but I could. It wouldn't be hard to. You figure out, like, I don't really know much about metal etching, you know, but I guess that's probably been metal etched. The logo and everything like that would have been etched somehow. But, you know, I don't know a lot about that, but it's one of those things you could soon research. And you could probably, if you made that pattern, you know, you could probably re-etch that. But yeah, you've got to be careful, otherwise you end up with no pattern at all, actually. We'll hammer this edge over. Just try to roll that in English wheel just to help flatten it out a little bit. Take some of the imperfections out of it from being manipulated. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. We can give that a sand up. Obviously file the excess of these pieces. Still got to trim it a little bit to fit in. Trimming and sand and whatever, and you know, I think it's pretty close to being, you know, to match, be good enough match now in the car. And just a matter of putting some probably some holes in it. No space the holes out, probably similar to what is in here, probably 3 screw holes. Obviously this was on the edge and this is probably on the carpet, you know, over the carpet side of it, or no, whatever way around. Yeah, the door comes up to here, so this will be on the carpet part of it. I can't do much with the etching, but I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm quite surprised. A little bit of thinking. It's amazing what you can come up with. Amazing what you can come up with, and when it's down on the ground and whatever, and had a bit of weathering. Nobody probably really know. So, just don't know whether to try and get, how much better to get this. I'll get some aluminium polish, sort of stuff that you can give it a rub with a rag, and we'll just see if we can clean it up a little bit better, make it look a bit better, I guess. But yeah, it's like, kind of how far do we go, if you know what I mean. Anyway, well, I think we'll get this trimmed up, and then I'll probably nick, like I said, we'll have to nick part of the back corner out to go around the that door jamb piece, so it won't slide underneath. Yeah, we'll be done. I don't think a little modification that's going to hurt too much. And we'll trim this up at the same time, sand, give it a sand up. I wonder if we could, I don't know, make a tool to sort of do that, mimic that look. Could always, I wonder if I get a piece of timber and just put a few cuts in it with that table saw and just keep stepping it over the width of the blade. Now not very deep, just look a little bit and then put a bit of paper on it and then just sand along here a few times. Just make a skinny-ish block, you know, 3 or 4 grooves in it just to try and mimic it. Sand it in with a bit of, I don't know, 20 or whatever. 20, 220. And just should kind of groove this a little bit. I might try that, we'll see. Righty, so what I've done, on the table saw, I've just made this little block that I'm going to put some, well, put a bit of sandpaper on. And hopefully that'll give me a similar sort of effect to in here, just to try and bring it in a little bit. So it looks like it's, you know, like that. Now we're not going to have the remnants of the logo in here, but if we can sand away on it for a wee while, and obviously these here are going to leave pressure marks, so it'll sand in hard on one piece and not on the next, if you know what I mean. So if we do it like, if I go, it doesn't really matter, but you know what I mean. If we go along like that, it's going to give us a similar sort of effect. It's probably not dead perfect from what that is, but again, you're not in the same door opening as the last one, if you know. So yeah, we'll try and mimic what we can and try and make it at least look like it's had those pieces in there. So I'll put a bit of I think 220 is probably coarse enough. I like something a little bit coarse than that, but not really 80. I think 220 is about as good as I got, you know, to be within a reasonable sort of grit. You know, a bit of frickin' 120 or even I don't know, something around that sort of ballpark would have been better. I think 80 is too coarse. I think it would scratch in there too much, but this here will leave a reasonably nice pattern. So we'll try it and we'll see how we come up. Right, let's see if we can make this work. Mary could only stand where I'm putting the pressure on it, you know what I mean? We're all sanding those other spots, but not as much, I guess. I wonder if I could glue that on there. I might glue a bit of that other shit on there. Let's just see if it'll work. And I'll cut the other bits away. We'll try it. Might just work better. Maybe first shot. I think we're getting there. It's taking the fucking morning, most of the morning, man. Right, we'll drill some holes in this. I could almost use that, but I think it's just a touch big. So we'll go down to a slightly smaller bit. I can always open it out a little bit. See down there? Oh, no, you can't see. Get it down there. Yeah. So yeah, I think that trims it off quite nicely. That's cool. I think that'll work nice. That'll work nice. That was good. I'm just going to make another one now after lunch. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know if that's what it looks like. No fucking clue. What was meant to be there, but you can only do what you can do with what you know. So I just mimicked the front one, made this an even space because it was at the back door. It didn't need to taper in for any reason. Like it wasn't tapering in around the seat or anything like this one. Again, I'm just going to trim the corner out of this a little bit. I don't think it'll matter. You can make them sit properly and nicely and all the rest, and you're done with it. So clean this one up, like the other one. And yeah, so we'll see you after lunch when we make another back one. And then I'll just make these other front ones fit. I may go around to mum and dad's and see if they've got some, dad might have some auto sold around there. What's his, I'm not sure if it's a New Zealand product or American product or Australian product. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's I've always known it in a black and gold tube, and it was always good for polishing up aluminium or aluminum, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked with that, how that came out. It's got that mimic look for the grooves, like the original sort of thing. It's got the etch grooves in there. It's not perfect, but you know, you could, if you really wanted to and you worked it all out, you could, you know, line it all out and etch it. You know, I don't know whether you could paint the product on there and let it etch in and then clean it up. And you could do all that if you really wanted to, mimic it. But kind of is what it is, you know. You can do what you do with what you got, you know. I know, we've done pretty well there. So yeah, we'll go have some lunch. I'll clean the face so it's not so black. Righty, so let's make the other one. Alrighty, so this is the second one. Again, I've tried to wear that, as you would have seen in the clip for this. You know, they was trying to sand in that grooving, I guess you would call it, etching, just to try and mimic that it's could have been old and worn, and it's sort of half by worn off sort of type thing over the last 100 years, you know, a bit like these. I guess it's kind of got that feel. You know, we're trying to at least make it look like it could have been original. There's not much else you can do, you know. You could probably get quite clever. You know, somehow you could probably get it to make it a better groove in there, like a really nice clean groove. I'm not quite sure how. You know, it's like one of those things you just have to think about and come up with a better plan, better solution over time if you made more. But I think it kind of, it gives that feel that it did have that etching in there, and with cleaning it up and polishing it and whatever, it's sort of worn off, but it's still there. Gives it that feel, I guess. Just trying to see whether that cleaning any of the residue off made it bring it up, brought it up any more. Yeah, kinda. Maybe if I that's kind of why I was trying to sand back over the top to try and shine the top stuff up a little bit better. Maybe if I went over it with a little bit of, let's see, that's 400. It's to get it so it doesn't polish up the bottom stuff so much and leaves the top stuff a bit shinier, I guess, is the trick, to get it to leave those lines a bit better. You might play with that a little bit. You know what I mean? You kind of see it coming out there. It's really awkward to get it to go in even though, too, with the panel being a little bit distorted from being bent. But it would be very, very awkward to put it in there beforehand, I think. Because you've got no edge to run up against. But even with running that over it, it kind of leaves a line a bit more prominent where it's really dug in. You can kind of see it and feel it. Just kind of what's on there, you know. But anyway, so we're just about sort of finished-ish, this one. So we've just got to trim that piece off, mark and drill some holes in it, and then I don't know whether to try and weather these up to look more like them. I just don't know whether I want to sort of beat them up or not, just to try and make them look more like this, because I'm never ever going to get these to look anything like them. But yeah, I don't know, might spend an extra hour or two just trying to sand these up a bit better, trying to get rid of some of the marks, worst marks out of it maybe, and then try and polish it again. I haven't tried to look for the aluminium polish yet to try and really bring them up. To get the shit out of it, freaking big, the really damaged areas, without taking all the what's left of the detail out. Right, so I've got all these pretty much sorted. I'm just trimming these front ones to fit underneath this piece here. I think originally it might have been snug, might actually been underneath this piece, but I can't get it to go underneath, so I just, what I've done, look at this one. Basically I've trimmed it back to about here somewhere. Somewhere in this ballpark, like cut probably half an inch by half an inch out. I just trimmed it back. I didn't take quite that much out to start off, but it was sitting proud of this edge. So just to get it sit back even along here, but to get it sit back and not be proud of this edge, I just trimmed back another little slither at it. Basically one of those little lines. Kind of what I did. Let it sit back there a little bit better. I think that's going to be okay. It's obviously a matter of screwing it down, checking that the door still closes and don't have any rubbing issues underneath or anything like that. I don't know, I haven't tested them. So yeah, I'll get this one trimmed up and fit the other side, and then we're basically done. These are all trimmed up and ready to go basically. These are all done now. Got both sides sorted. They are reasonably polished up. I don't know how much further I'm going to go. I'm going to try. I'm going to get some proper aluminium polish. I won't just be using that jeweler's rouge and stuff like that. I just wanted to see whether, if I do use some proper aluminium polish, where I can actually get these to be a bit cleaner, where the marks are and where the damage is. Just to try and make them look a little nicer. It's a bit of a hard one, you know, it's just trying to get these pittings and scratches and stuff to be clean out a little bit and just to half ply polish up. I don't know. So yeah, but it kind of matches the rest anyway, you know. They're not, none of the aluminium stuff's perfect. And we've managed to get most of it to clean up pretty nicely. Like all that stuff that I polished up ages ago is dulled off. So we can probably, with a little bit of something, you know, we can give it a bit of a polish up again, but it's probably better off to leave it just sort of flatten off a little bit. I don't know. No, I had it pretty shiny there, but it's sort of dulled off, it's oxidised a little. So we can give it a bit of a hand polish up again every now and again, you know. I don't know how often he's going to do it, but it should still look fine, if you know what I mean. Did I change that? No, I haven't. I put the wrong one back on him. That's all good. So yeah, I'll get this other one trimmed. I'm just looking at that freaking this thing here. I realised I put the wrong one on. Not that I've bolted it on properly yet, but just I sat it on here the other day. I was like, oh, I put the wrong one on. That's probably not difficult later having four of them floating around now. Okay. That's better. That's nicer. So yeah, we'll trim the other one up and we'll fit that on, and I think we'll call that a day. I might take them with me because I've got to go around to turn the camera around. Yeah, I'll take these with me because I've got to go around to Mum and Dad's place where the Mondeo's sitting. Finally, my vacuum bleeder, brake bleeder kit turned up today at lunchtime, so I want to try and see if I can get that power steering fucking bleed. It's been sitting in that shed for about 2 weeks. I ordered that piece late last week, and I think they must have only just seen it yesterday. That's the biggest problem with some of these big fucking corporations. I don't know, that just a warehouse type stuff. Some of them are really good. You know, it's like the next day it's out. You know, and it's a bit like those guys when I ordered those wrap lock discs, roll lock discs, whatever they call them. They were out and gone within an hour, but these guys I ordered the stuff off, which is Dick Smith. They used to have a lot of stores around, and they just went solely just warehouse you know, just send everything out of warehouse. So it took them 4 days to fucking send it. Like, just to put it through their system. And I was like, fuck, that's slack. Oh, my face is dirty. Yuck. So, yeah, but anyway, I'll take these with me. So I'm not sure if Dad's got some auto solve there or not, but if he has, well, I might just do a little bit of handwork and just see what they come up with. But yeah, I just would like to try and get these marks just a bit cleaner. If they'll come out, if they'll polish out a bit cleaner and not leave all the residue in there, would be nice just to get them just a little bit better. It's sort of awkward, you know, that's sort of so ground in. When you polish it, it sort of stays in there. But I'll try a bit of it, you know, I'll smear a bit of it on there and then put it back on those wheel. And try it, you know, even tomorrow. But yeah, I want to see if I can get these brakes, well, not brakes, it's power steering to bleed up. And if it won't bleed up, hopefully we might be able to find out why it's not bleeding, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we might be able to discover whether there is actually an issue with one of the components that's still in the car, if you know what I mean. Maybe one of the original hoses, like maybe one of the original non-high pressure lines that are on it. The one that goes between the reservoir and the thing of the feed for the pump. Or the other one back from the pump, back from the rack to the pump. Maybe there is a leak in there, I don't know. Or something like that, but yeah, who bloody knows. It's just, it's been a pain in the ass. We haven't been able to drive our vehicle around for a couple of weeks. We've had the loan of the other one, but it's not the same as driving your own vehicle around. You're always worried about something happening to that, but you know, if something happens to your own vehicle, it's still a pain in the ass, but at least it wasn't. It's the person's vehicle you borrowed. Anyway, we'll trim this up, and yeah, we'll probably see it later on in another video, because I might just do a little clip on that thing if we can get it to bleed. I haven't got them screwed in, but I can close all the doors and pipe them all underneath to the edges of where they butt up against the doors, you know, and the body, so that's good. I don't think I've got any problems. As long as I can get the screws to sit down low enough, when we screw them in, I think we'll be fine. So that's cool. They will all sit in there without too many issues. Got them all trimmed up, so yeah. It's a matter of getting them screwed in, I guess, you know, finding the right sort of, I guess it'd be sort of style screw, so we might have to find some more screws tomorrow or the next day. But that's cool. At least they're done. We'll just, yeah, got to see if we can get them, I don't know, we'll just see if we can get them polished up a little bit cleaner. Alright, we'll catch you later on. Cheers. Hey guys, if you need welding gas, go see the boys at Cool Gas. If you're in New Zealand, yep, go see these guys. They'll look after you. Cool Gas, New Zealand.